Sorry, getting things reordered here. Was cutting things up earlier with the scissors, and I wanted to show you what's going on here. Okay, this is a microvarium. I did an unboxing of it, and I did a preliminary review of it some time ago, and I just figured I'd show you what's going on. You can see that the sphagnum moss there, pretty well populated with springtails. They're doing their thing. You can see a little piece of kinshi there that I put in there. And I want to show you what's going on in this bin. Okay, mostly zebras. And it appears that these are indeed true breeding zebras because we've got a second generation, and I have no evidence that there was hybridization going on. So I put a tiny little zebra in here, as well as several other species. You can see this Porcellonides prunosus. Got pretty big, but it's the only one in there. And I was trying to see what a mixed species enclosure would do in something this small, besides, of course, springtails, like mixed species of isopods. So I put one of everything, not one of everything, but one of several different species, including one Porcellonides prunosus Oreo crumble, and it did really well. As you can see, it got mighty big for a Porcellonides prunosus. I usually don't see them quite that big. But the zebra had apparently already made it, despite the fact that it was very tiny. And so now, most of what I've got in here are zebras. Zebras of a couple different generations. So this is an example of a situation where one species of isopod is out competing the others. You can see that I do have a couple other isopods in here. Here's a big old milkback male that has been doing well in here for the whole time. But I put quite an assortment of species in here, and now I only see three. And that is the milkback, the zebra, and the Porcellonides prunosus Oreo crumbles. That's it. That's all I see in here now. And it's a little weird. But at the same time, it shows that out competition can happen. It's not going to happen in every single situation. But with limited resources, it's going to tend to happen a lot more quickly. And this is a small environment with limited resources. So it's not too surprising that that's what happened. It's a little disappointing, but it's not surprising. I had Armadillidium nausatum in here. I had a rubber ducky in here. I had, trying to remember what else I had in here. I had a Porcellio ornatus nord, then I had an Armadillidium gestroy in here. And now, nope, not happening. It's slowly just being overrun by zebras. And if you're going to be overrun by something, being overrun by zebras is not so bad, but that's what we're getting. But I am glad to see, I had an Armadillidium klugi in here too, which was mating with the zebra, or attempting to mate with the zebra, and that's why I was a little concerned about hybridization. Let me grab something else here. Sorry, it just happens to be right in the way of the camera. I need to put like cool photos here or something, so that you never have to just look at plain nothing. This is my larger gestroy colony, which I recently set up in a larger bin. See how things are doing in there. Yep. Got gestroy of all different ages in there, it looks like. So, good. I'm glad it's working much better here. Yeah, I'm thinking what I need to do is try to do a live stream just on my data plan. Maybe I could do a better job that way. Maybe I'd get better quality, and we could do that. I see Tara's here, and Cassie's asking about culling your low expression milkbacks. Yeah, I have done that to some extent. When I see some that look just like dairy cows, for example, I tend to cull them out. They're good for certain bioactives and stuff. And so yeah, I do indeed do that. I think it's better for them. And then you can get a nice milk back like the one I just showed. Pretty decent one. And some eggs. You just got gestroy. Awesome. Got to be my favorite Armadillidium. There's a whole bunch of babies in there. Got to be my favorite Armadillidium. They're Armadillidium are great in general, but Gestroy. Darn, hard to beat. Sorry about that, bumping into things. I'm going to need to make a few modifications to this spot, I think. I recently modified it and it looks like it needs just a bit more of that modification before it's going to be more stable. Now, this is one that two people who are in the chat or have been in the chat today helped me found. This is my American Line Magic Potion, or True Magic Potion. Critters and More and Bitty Bugs both helped me get this colony going, and it's doing pretty well. Really liking these. There's some representatives. We took a brief look at these and kind of compared them to the Japanese Line Magic Potion last time we had a live stream, didn't we? They're just kind of gorgeous, so I wanted to take a peek at them. I didn't know there was an icon like that, Cassie. That's awesome. And I have been in contact with someone who does have entirely yellow Gestroy. I think it's fantastic. They look amazing. I would love a colony of those. Tarantula Haven. So great question about the bee pollen. While we have that question here, I'm going to grab some. Maybe we'll feed some off while I talk about it. Just a second. So the person who has the all yellow Gestroy, I can't remember, I'm trying to remember the name. It's someone in Europe, I believe, maybe Sweden. I think it's in Sweden. And forgive me if I don't remember the name. Where's my feeding dish? There it is. I don't remember the name right now, but all yellow Gestroy. You can look it up on Instagram. There's some pictures of it going around on Instagram. So, super cool. Probably the most striking yellow expression of any isopod I've ever seen. These are all yellow. They look just like little lemons or something. It's so cool. So I hope everybody gets a chance to see that. So Alex at Tarantula Haven was asking about the benefit of using bee pollen. A couple of benefits. It's a fairly high protein source. It's got some, and it's plant-based protein source that's got some good lipids in it and various micronutrients of different kinds. Definitely going to provide some good variety. I think it's up to 35% protein depending on the kind of pollen. So it can be a great protein source that's just different from most of the things you are offering, and yeah, I guess that's it in a nutshell. I hope that helps. And they do really seem to have a good feeding response. All right, so Finn Ice Bear, have tried crossing milkback with dairy cows and both being P-labus. If so, what was the result? What do you think the result would be? Okay, so you're asking me if I have done it. I've not done it. I've heard that it can be done, but I haven't done it. I think it's likely they're both very closely related. They're closely related to one another, and that's why it works. They're probably the same species. And interestingly, I don't think the result would be very cool, to be honest. I'm not sure if the first generation would be wild types or if it's on the same allele and it's just slightly different versions of the same allele, or if they are completely different alleles that cause the color, or the pattern expression. But I do see milkbacks that look a lot like dairy cows occasionally, and I think it would be counterproductive to cross them in the sense of, am I going to produce anything new and cool? No, you're probably going to produce something that looks a lot like a dairy cow, and you won't be able to tell that there's any milkback blood in it, and it will not be very interesting. And then what do you do with those then? Because you release them in the hobby as dairy cow milkback cross, but they just look like dairy cows. People are going to dump them with their dairy cows, and then you know, things get muddied. That's kind of what I'm thinking. That would be my unbiased opinion. Just kidding. I guess it's my biased opinion on it. But yeah, that would be my opinion on what you might see. No, sorry, I just pushed the wrong button there. Okay, we're back. And why I probably wouldn't do that cross. Generally, I want to try to do crosses that increase, you know, certain traits or accentuate certain traits or cause interesting combinations. Like a cross that I'm not the first one by any means to do it, but I, you know, crossed my Oreo crumbles with my oranges, and now I have orange crumbles. And that's cool because you've got something that is visibly distinct from anything else, has traits that you appreciate in two other lines, and you can take the best of those traits and put them together. That one's fun because of that. And I know I showed everybody those last time, so I probably shouldn't do them this time. I'm actually kind of trying to remember what we looked at last time. We're going to take a peek at my Punta Canas. We can do that. Punta Canas it is. Yeah, I've heard people isolating whites from dairy cows. Are they whiteouts like 100% white with white eyes, or are they just high white dairy cows with occasional flecks? Because I think the high white dairy cows with occasional flecks and dark eyes are probably, it's a line bred trait. That seems to be what I've heard when people get the white dairy cows. But if they have white eyes, then there's actually a different mutation going on there. So there's, it'd be interesting to know which ones you've been working with. So Finn Ice Bear, you could definitely get some orange crumbles. It takes a while, but with Porcellanides pruinosus, it doesn't take super long time because they're fast breeders and they mature quickly. So it wouldn't be too bad. You could make that work. You just plan on getting all little baby powder blues, phenotypically the first generation, and pulling those out when they're tiny so that they don't interbreed with the adults. And then when they cross with each other, a very small proportion of their babies will be orange crumbles, and you can start pulling those out. And that should be what you get. So, hoping that is helpful. And thank you, Cassie. Yeah, they are prolific locality for sure, and they get pretty large. And thank you. This is a pretty good bin here. There's a lot in here, and there's some more in here hanging out. I like the variety in color, and I've been working on increasing that variety of the color based on some stock from Tanner Steinbrook, Medieval Serpents. He sent me some high contrast ones, which I haven't put in here yet. I've been breeding them somewhere else. So eventually I'm going to just start taking some from that bin and mixing these, because they are Punta Cana still. It's just they've been line bred for high contrast, so I want to keep that separate, but also put some of those in here. Good. And glad to hear it is helpful. So random tea. Oh, to see some millipedes. Yeah, I think we have a minute to do that. Let me see what we got here. Just 1 second. As you probably know, digging for millipedes is not a good idea. So you have to stay on the surface, basically. For a very superficial, look at near the surface. You don't want to dig them up and cause problems with molting. But here is one of my ivories. This looks like I got the light on right and my glasses are working for me. It looks like a female. One of the prettiest U.S. species for sure in my book. Oh, Cassie, is that what happened with your Punta canas? So did you get a high contrast bin by selective breeding from those mostly wild types, or did you have to get some more stock in? I'm kind of curious about how the polymorphism works in Punta canas, if it's possible to start out with a very low contrast group and get high contrast groups, if you start out with a low contrast, if you're limiting your options, so to speak. There's definitely some line breeding that can help there, because that's what Tanner did. But I'm just kind of wondering about the limits. Look at those mesmerizing legs. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to make her fall over. But I did. Look at those legs. Pretty awesome. Well, darn, we're almost out of time today. What with the all the issues that were going on with the first time we tried to do the stream. So your Punta canas are kind of muddying, Frank? Sorry to hear that. Interesting to know, though. And yeah, I totally get what you mean by piano. Some eggs. Does too much inbreeding affect Porcelia laevis reproduction? Tarantula haven? Not in my experience. Not that I have noticed. That's an interesting thing going on. I wonder what is going on. Be interesting to hear more about that. Maybe we need to chat more about that at some point. Okay, so Cassie, you bought some other stock. So see, that helps me to understand. That's great information, because it helps me to know that you weren't able to, or at least you didn't get high contrast individuals by just working on breeding those mostly wild types and just selecting from them. Oh, that's not what I want to do. I'm not intending to mix isopods and millipedes today. That's not where I want to go. Oh, McFlurry. You got a nice jumping spider off the wall. Cool. I'm gonna put this create millipods. That'd be something. I guess we'd have to create millipods because we already have pillipedes, right? So I guess my time is up, everyone. I apologize for the issues with the stream today, but it should be better next week. Plan on a stream on Tuesday and probably about the same time, but I will go ahead and either put it on, I'll do some testing to make sure it's going to be good quality from the get-go. I had done streams from that same balcony before without issues, so I figured I could do it again, but I guess no. So next time I will do that. I'll do some testing, maybe see if I use some data to do it and see if that makes a better quality, and on test stream that's not, public and whatever, and see how it goes and let you know. Anyway, plan on a stream on Tuesday. I have a video coming out on Friday, so thank you everybody for joining, and we'll catch you next time.